For the last 10 years, I've been looking after my animals. I'm a farmer. I have a wife, 2 daughters. I've got 3 cows. I've got some poultry. Animals drink a lot of water, something to do 100 liters per day. We used to fetch water with her. We had to go several times, meaning that no any other work we could do on that particular day. And it was very tiresome.
We have a lot of problem with water because we have to buy from people who have got a small borehole, and it is very expensive because you buy from the owner, then you get somebody to fetch for you, and at the same time you pay that person. And within 2 days, because I have a young baby, the water is over, then I buy again, so I'm missing a lot of money.
Many people in rural areas of Kenya do not have a reliable supply of clean piped water. In some areas, small community-based water providers are working to improve and extend water services, but they lack reliable access to funding to develop and manage their water assets. The sector reforms of 2002 put in place a basic legal and regulatory framework to support community-based water providers. However, lack of access to funding for capital works remains a hurdle.
The Kalweti project was started by a few people from this area of Kalweti because they had some difficulties when they started rearing dairy cattle, which could not be able to go down to the streams as the ordinary cattle could. My father was one of the few people who started the project in late 1968. By the end of 1975, water started dripping down their taps. From 1990, we started experiencing water shortages. The number of people was growing too fast. Animal population also grew fast. And so we started going around the country, looking for aids, looking for grants. We could go to foreign embassies to seek for grants, and even to the government agencies. And actually, we never got any aid.
The Water Services Board has the legal mandate of managing and developing water infrastructure within our area. The biggest gap we have held in terms of financing is to finance the rural setup. There has been a belief that the rural setup cannot be able to manage systems on their own.
In 2004, the Water and Sanitation Program Africa started looking for ways to support small-scale water providers to access commercial debt finance.
We looked at trying to understand the mechanics of the community-based organizations that do provide water in the country, in rural settings. And to do so, we had some support from the Public-Private Infrastructure Advisory Facility, or PPIAF, where we looked with that support into 2 particular cases in great depth. We looked at their financial structure and their cash flows that they generated, how they structured their tariffs. We looked at their management infrastructure and their governance infrastructure to look at how they ensured that water was equitably distributed, how it was made accessible to the poor, and how they grew their business, essentially. At the same time, we started to talk to a number of microfinance banks in the country. The bank that emerged the most interested and the most willing to try and develop an innovation was KREP Bank. And with them, we looked at the 2 case studies we had developed in some detail and tried to understand whether their credit committees would be able to actually lend to these projects.
Water has hitherto, unfortunately, been seen as a service that should only be provided by the government and government-related agencies. And therefore, there wasn't much focus from the microfinance sector to look at water as one of the services that could be privatized. Yet, if you really scanned and looked all over the country, you found that the private sector, especially small enterprises and micro enterprises, have actually been involved in providing water as a service to the poor communities for a very long time.
KREP Bank got involved in Maji Ni Maisha scheme starting the year 2006. It was a response to the demand of most of our customers. And at the same time, we also had a request from Water and Sanitation Program of the World Bank, where they're developing a product which can enhance financing to the water sector because there were serious gaps. The word Maji Ni Maisha translated into English language says water is life. The word was coined by one of our community members. When we asked them, why are you asking for a loan to invest in water? They said, because water is life. Without water, we will not be able to live.
The Maji Ni Maisha scheme focuses on communities that are on the poor end of the spectrum of the country, but at the same time have demonstrated the capacity to develop and manage their own water systems. Provide them with loan finance, which they're to pay back, and use a smaller subsidy component to deal with the affordability issues that follow from that loan finance. GPOBA's involvement in the project was inspired by the need to buy down the cost of lending in the sector, which is really being driven by the financial conditions that the financial sector is subject to in the country. Basically, short-term loans together with high interest costs made fully loan finance projects likely to be unaffordable to communities that we were targeting. And the output-based subsidy, first and foremost, allowed the buy down of that cost to make it affordable to the communities we were targeting.
Output-based aid is a results-based financing mechanism that is being used to improve delivery of basic services in developing countries. It's results-based because the payment of the output-based subsidy is tied to the delivery of specific outputs or services, such as a water connection. GPOBA provided an initial grant of $1.15 million, and this was for the original pilot that targeted 21 communities around Nairobi.
The output-based subsidy or aid served a very, very important role in helping CAREP to enter the sector and also to understand how to structure financial products for financing community-based water projects. The design of this scheme, where the subsidy actually kicks in after the success, really served to create a new way of availing water to low-income and poor communities.
The blend of microfinance and the subsidy creates an efficient management system and high accountability. People develop more confidence and willing to put their resources in even maintenance and paying for those services which are properly and efficiently being provided.
The scheme has three main phases. The project development phase is focused on the community articulating what they want to do, how they're going to do it, and essentially convincing the lender that they have a bankable proposal.
All the groups making application will have to open an account with the CAREP Bank and put in 20% of the project cost in advance if the application is accepted. CAREP Bank will advance them 80% to undertake project implementation. During the implementation phase, they are given a period, what we call a construction period, to enable them to achieve pre-agreed outputs. These pre-agreed outputs are increased coverage up to this number of individual connections and a certain threshold of revenue to be generated every month.
Before Maji Ni Maisha scheme could take off, we had to see what we had against what we needed. We had the resource, which was the dam. We had the distribution land, which is the highest point in this area. To be seen by the financiers that we met the target, we had to build from the dam site a clear water tank, a new pump house, a filtration unit, a backwash tank, and then from the distribution site, we had to build 225 meter cube tank, and from there we did 37 kilometers of the pipings. By the time the audit came in, we had surpassed the agreed 250 and had connected 365 consumers.
Once the community have achieved their outputs, they make a request to CAREP Bank for output verification. CAREP Bank will instruct independent project audit consultants to undertake the verification and confirm the achievements of those outputs. On the confirmation by the project audit consultants, CAREP Bank will make a request to Global Partnership on Output-Based Aid to release the subsidy, which in this case is 40% of the total project cost.
The post-implementation phase begins with the operation of the project after the outputs have been verified. This is the point at which the community is running the system. In many cases, to ensure sustainability, CAREP Bank is requiring that the communities contract an outside operator. And this is interesting as it is the first time in the country that private operators are running community managed systems. It provides the lender with some comfort that during the operational phase, quality will be maintained, service will be ensured, and therefore loans will be repaid.
We asked for a full-fledged operator contract, whereby they have to bring in their own manager, their own operators, their own staff, and their own accountant. So ours now is to help them in coming in where they have conflicts with the consumers and where we want some extensions or some modifications to be done. But it's their duty to run the project on day-to-day basis. The program does not just give money. You prepare documents, you bring in expertise, surveys are done, everything such that when the money comes out, it's almost 100% that the project will succeed. In fact, it cannot compete with any other form of our own.
Kile tumejua ni hii, tulielezwa hii mradi ndio utakuwa wa loan na tukakubali kwa sababu tunajua maji hataisha, ni ya milele na milele, na ukimaliza hiyo loan, hiyo maji itakuwa inakusaidia na maisha yako.
Na sisi hakuna kazi tunafanya, tunalima kidogo kidogo. Na unjue mtungi kama mmoja iwezi katosha ng'ombe. Sasa unaona ukinjua maji iko pale, unaenda unachotea ng'ombe, hata unapumzika. Tulipumzika wakati ilikuja.
We are really grateful for this project because it has really helped us as women. Because women are the ones who are working so much on that water, carrying those jerrycans, and now at least we are relaxed and we are very thankful.
Na leo namakinyite indi ya gukorwo mai matukiheo mega tugikirirwo nyamu njega tutekugira tutegutinda tukihuhania wikire rĩu ndĩthiaga mũberethi ngahingũra maĩ kanyua we woka ngakũgĩrĩra kana ngekĩra handũ makahera ta gũkũ nyũmba rĩu mũkanyua me mega andũ akwa nĩ nyonaga nĩ magaikara wega nĩ ũndũ wa kũgĩrĩrwo maĩ rũĩ makarutwo rũĩ makarehwo gũkũ.
Following the initial success of the pilot, the Maji Ni Maisha scheme is now being scaled up to target over 165,000 beneficiaries in 55 communities nationwide. The scaled-up project will see a total investment in piped water systems of about $6 million, of which 60% will come from commercial or community sources.
At the core of the scheme is the concept of sustainability. The sustainability of the scheme is underpinned by using a source of finance that, in the lending sense at least, is going to be available perpetually. Banks, if they can see a business model around lending to the water sector, will be there to lend to the water sector the next time an investment is needed. So sustainability is a key factor in how the project's been designed.
The Maji Ni Maisha scheme has proven that it is very viable for commercial banks to invest in the water schemes. What it has proven is that when you structure the financing in the way that Maji Ni Maisha scheme projects have been structured, then it improves on the viability. We see a lot of prospects of expanding this scheme to many other parts of Kenya.
This project is an important innovation because it's leveraging private sector financing to extend water infrastructure in Kenya. The public sector can't afford to pay for everything here. The project's successful, it's being scaled up here in Kenya, and it has the potential to be replicated across Africa.
Today, our board members, and of course, even our community at large, are really committed to the project. When we call them for an AGM or a special general meeting, they usually turn up in large numbers because we really feel we really own our project. It is owned by us and nobody else but the community itself.